Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 out of episode 5. I'm here with the Matt Butler. He he's a pilot extraordinaire. He lived his life flying high and securing the skies for the guys on the ground and building the command centers and doing all the cool things. And I'm not doing it any justice, but when you talk about aiming high, this guy, the Air Force motto, it's Matt. Matt, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's an absolute honor to have you, Matt. We came to get to know each other through like mutual connections on LinkedIn, and it's just God has a plan, and it's so unique of like how all these things come together, and I couldn't be more thrilled about how it's happening because you're doing such some amazing stuff in just the network of the veteran community. And before we go into the questions, can we just talk a little bit about just some of the things? Don't go through all of them on this one. Just some of them of what you're doing to kind of pay it forward and give it back.
Yeah, sure. No, again, appreciate you having me on. Um, LinkedIn is really a phenomenal tool for anyone, especially networking. Much different animal than Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or anything. Very focused on business and connecting. And I love connecting with you and other folks on LinkedIn. I use it quite a bit to know what's going on in business and the veteran entrepreneurship space. Um, and for your listeners, if you are in the military or out, LinkedIn will give you a 1 year free premium account. You can apply for it. You just have to show proof of either being in the military or probably your DD 214 to just show proof that
Yep.
you did serve. So take advantage of it. Might as well. The premium account's really great because it brings in a lot of a learning center where there's a bunch of videos where you can continue to educate yourself on all sorts of things. Helps me stay up to date. Say, for example, as we start to transition to the fourth and then the first quarter of 2024, and I need to do taxes. So I learn about tax law and changes that are in there. So great learning things, social media, marketing, everything like that. And then it's just a great place just to find out what's going on with everyone. So uh, that's my pitch for LinkedIn. I think it's great. And again, it's free. Take advantage of anything free. I like to stay involved. I retired from the Air Force after 20 years. It's already been 5 years since I retired, which has gone really quick. Um, and there's a lot of aspects of the military that I miss. And what I try to do is stay connected to military organizations and more specifically nonprofits that are trying to help, um, identify and help veterans and also spouses. When I say spouses, or when I say veterans, I'm also including spouses because in my mind, I feel like spouses have been a part of the journey with veterans. They had to PCS, permanent change of station for those
Yep.
non-military. They had to get deployed and they were there the whole time holding the fort down, their house down, kids, dogs, cats, everything like that. So a lot of these organizations that I'm a part of help spouses out too. So I'm a part of different ones like Warrior Risings, a nonprofit to help veterans out. Institute for Veterans and Military Families is another wonderful program helping transitioning members. Patriot Boot Camp, Bunker Labs is a wonderful entity that helps veterans and spouses get together and help each other out. So, a military veteran ecosphere of people all trying to do the same thing and lift people up into what they're trying to do. Um, a lot of different ones that are out there that are military oriented. So those are things that I try and help out as much as I can. I'm mentoring currently another military member. She's in Florida with me, and she's going to be pitching for a grant for Warrior Rising, and so I'm helping her with her pitch um, process and
Pitch deck.
elevator pitch, if you will. So those things really, you might think I'm helping them, and in a way I am, but in a way it kind of helps me just stay connected to everyone else, and I really get a lot of energy out of it. And just like you, if I was ever in a bind or an area where I didn't know anything, you're going to connect me up with somebody else that can help me or point me in the right direction or
Yep.
things, because we're all trying to lift each other up and help each
Yeah.
other, and that's what we do in the military veteran space. We want everyone to succeed. If I made a mistake, I'm going to tell Zach, I recommend that you don't do this. Now, you have a choice if you want to or not, but here's
Yep.
why it didn't work out well for me. But you might, approach something differently. So that's what I like about this is this space of helping everyone out.
Yeah. Hey, can you talk a little bit more about one of the nonprofits that you recommended that you're a part of? I mean, you mentioned I think three, maybe four in that. Let's just click into one of them.
Sure. So one that I'm in the process, I talked about mentoring another veteran for her pitch, which is a fragrance collection. And I know nothing about fragrance. And so I love to learn new businesses and new things because I want to know more about it. So it's been great in that aspect. So Warrior Rising, started by Jason Van Camp in
He's a great
Salt.
guy, by the way. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
Jason's awesome. Yeah. Um, they have a online portal and an online education. And I think it lasts about 6 weeks. They also combined up with another organization called Vet to CEO, and they combine those organizations and they'll do it virtually. And they'll go through a bunch of different modules and things talking about finance, basic structure of the business, marketing, demographics, all sorts of different things. And once you go through that, then you have the chance to pitch for. They call it a business shower, and here's what's really cool about the term business shower is everyone's familiar with a baby shower, and they're going to get, the family gets diapers and they get things that they need because they have a baby coming in and they want to celebrate the addition to the family. Well, they do a business shower and they help with getting the veteran that's starting the business the tools and foundational things they need. So they'll get them a business suit, a computer. They'll help out design a website or help with search engine optimization. They'll give them the education and then some of the physical tools to help them with their business. They will shower them with gifts. They'll get them professional headshots. And so that I was also a part of that organization and did the business pitch as well a couple years ago, and I did well and I placed well with the pitch. But I am now feel that I'm moving from student to teacher in a way. Again, I will always be a student, and I think anyone in business will always be a student. You can always learn more. There's always more to be learned. There are always people that have more experience than us. And what's
Hmm.
great about Warrior Rising is they are connecting everyone to where they need to go with their business, depending on what stage they could be in. Are they brand new and growing, so developing the foundation for their business? Are they in a growth stage? Are they in a stage where they might need funding? Do they need to get a loan? Do they need an equity investor? Or maybe they're trying to sell their business and they're trying to exit. There's all sorts of different stages of business. And I know that Warrior Rising for me will always be there and have my back wherever I am in my stage of business. And I recently launched another business on a different product called the Tally Tumbler. And they've been there because now I have multiple businesses that are on multiple different stages. And they're there to support me on all those different stages, which is great. So Warrior Rising with Jason is phenomenal. So their big event they have coming up here is November 11th, which coincides with Veterans Day, which is wonderful, and we'll be in Salt Lake City. So if you are out there, or at least look up the website Warrior Rising, and maybe there's a future event that you might be able to be a part of for the people that are listening.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for Thanks for sharing that. You can just see the passion, and it's cool to learn something new and pay it forward. Again, we talked about that in the first episode. That's what it's all about. And I've had a couple of my guests talk about and reiterate that it's all about the pay it forward, and I love it.
Hmm.
That's what the leaders that I've been around have taught me. How do you pay it forward? It's not about hoarding and
Right.
keeping it in. It's about how do you continue to reinvest it back. And so that resonates with me super, super strongly. Um, Matt, question number two.
Okay.
Um, your journey, you founded Rollers. You just talked about it, right? And you got Tally Tumblers. We're going to
Yep.
talk about Rollers. I love the names, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
Uh,
you.
Rollers. It like when I hear it, I think of the song "Picture Me Rolling."
Yeah.
But I digress. So it's a unique outdoor game.
Yep.
I'm familiar with it. It's really cool. Talk to me about how the background that you have influenced this entrepreneurial spirit and mindset, especially with the military, and how it pulled out this innovation and adaptability. Right, because being in the military, like, let's be frank, sometimes we have like 60-mile-an-hour tape, duct tape, the green stuff, and we have some safety wire, right?
Yep.
So you got to be innovative and you have to be adaptable.
Yep.
Can you talk to me a little bit about and share with the people that are watching what that actually like? How did it pull it out of you?
Well, I think the things that we learned being in the military translate over to entrepreneurship and business ownership quite well. You just have to just look at it in a different lens. Some of the things we learned being in the military is just simple things, but they're important. Of working with teams. You know, you have to be able to work with people, and we always work with teams in the military. You worked with a team working on an F-16 and loading weapons. There's multiple people, and you have to have trust into those people. You have to have critical thinking into, is that the right decision that I want to make? Also, being very mission oriented is important, and we know, as we talked about in the earlier episode, there's different levels of missions from your squadron, from your brigade, from your wing. There's all sorts of different ones. Here's another one that's really important that translated over to me with business ownership, and I know that you'll relate to this. Being stationed in Iraq is being a problem solver. When you were deployed, just like I was deployed numerous times, did you ever get everything that you needed or that you wanted when you're on your deployment? You really never do. So I'll give you uh, a story about when I was deployed to um, Baghdad and the surrounding area. I was working on a new aircraft. It was called Project Liberty at the time, MC-12, little twin prop plane. Had a bunch of reconnaissance surveillance equipment packages that were on it, and
I
it
know what
fed its
plane that is.
information. You know that plane? Okay. And it fed that information to a ground station. Well, I got to the ground station early on because we were actually testing the aircraft out and its capability. I was in a test organization for a long time at Hurlburt Field in Florida. Um, and they didn't have any furniture. They didn't have any chairs. They didn't have any tables. They had all of the equipment and IT and everything, but they couldn't even find a place to sit down. But what they did have is they had tons of wood and boxes and two by fours and tarps and all sorts of things. And so, what do you do when you don't have those things, but you have all those other assets? You build it. You make do with what you have, and you solve a problem, which goes back into the entrepreneurial and business ownership problem, especially if you're creating something from scratch. Is you find a problem, and then you find the solution to it, and then you have an opportunity for business. It's very basic, but that's the same thing. We had a problem. I didn't have a place to sit, but I got two by fours, so I'm going to build the chairs, and we're going to use that to sit down because we don't have a place. We didn't have all the chairs and tables shipped to us at the time. So that's how it translates into business, because when you start a business, you're not going to have everything you need. And financially, you might have to bootstrap your business for a long time, meaning you're going to have to make do with what you have. You may have to lease versus own. You may have to buy used
Yep.
versus new. Um, you may not have all the inventory and the money that you need, so you take that and reinvest it into the company. Maybe you have to barter with somebody. Maybe you won't be able to order the minimum order quantity that's needed. So maybe, for example, in Florida, I know a couple breweries, and they purchased a bunch of material and supplies in a large quantity, but they did it in a grouping. And so as a bunch of them went in. And so that's kind of where I'm going with it, is you're not going to have everything that you need. I learned that in the military. That translates over into business. I don't always have everything that I need, but it's not going to stop me from moving forward with my business. I'm still going to move forward. Um, so that's the big thing that I took away, which goes into innovation and creativity and critical thinking and all those things I learned in the military. And so as I pay it forward, I try and uh, reinforce positive reinforcement to other veterans that just keep pushing through. You can't curl up in a ball and not do anything. You have to move forward. Your product that you're creating, you're going to have a minimal viable
Yeah.
product that at some point you got to bring out to the masses, so you can get feedback to see, is this something good or not. So
Yeah.
um,
I absolutely agree with you. One of the things that I think the time in my deployments have taught me, um, you got to be scrappy,
oh yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
otherwise, like it's not good. You got to get scrappy with like getting creative and um, finding time with the downtime on what do you do and the ingenuity that comes out of it. And it's I completely agree with you. That's where the creativity come out. And the things that we built and the things that we did in the downtime were
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
From my time in Kuwait all the way through my last deployment in Iraq. So, um, yeah, or even just like the stateside stuff we did. Of
Yep.
it's unbelievable. Um, when when you think about um, teaching people that and the fortitude to just push through it and do it, not everyone, I mean, I know that not everyone understands that and not everyone's comfortable with it, but like what's your experience when people hear that? Like how do they react?
You've got to just break it down for them. I think sometimes people are looking at the totality of everything and giving up a a foundational and sequential order which goes into planning something out. I think when you plan something out, a business plan, and there's a lot of resources you can find through the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov, and they'll have templates on there. And if you show that it's not as daunting as they may have put it in their mind, and just reinforcing somebody and just showing them direction, I think they understand that they can do it as well. And maybe explain along the way, because we all have to start somewhere, you
Yeah.
know. And I literally started rollers out of my garage at one point. I had to take the vehicles and put them in the driveway, and I was sanding and lacquering these game pieces when I was actually selling them at a church fair initially. That's a whole nother story, but where I'm going with this is you do have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
if you saw my packaging, it looked like probably 1942 Mattel or Hasbro. I had like three different colors on it. It was a big brown box. It was. I'm still surprised that people bought it after looking at that. So, but again, starting somewhere, having a minimal viable product or minimal viable service that you might provide, whatever that is. You just you gotta give it a try.
Yeah. You're absolutely, you gotta start.
Yep.
That's the first step in the process, right? And sometimes just taking that blind leap of faith of just doing it, and then you're forced to make the next decision in the process, right? And the biggest thing is to know that, like, when you're in these communities, if you open yourself up to be in these communities, and you open that door and you walk through it, you're back in an ecosystem that, man, you can look, there's 1,000 people left, 1,000 people right, and 1,000 people behind you that are willing to, like, authentically, like, hey, I'm in, I'll help you. They'll answer questions for you, and they're not going to be smug about it. They want to authentically help. So take the first step.
Yep.
And that's what's rad about this community. And even better, if you don't know how to take the first step, just know that, like, LinkedIn, sign up for your first free account. It's free for the first year. It's
Yep.
amazing. I did it. um, I'm super happy I did it. I didn't know it was a value, and that I'm hooked on the premium. Love
Hmm.
it. It's totally worth it. It's something that I don't know that I could do without.
I agree. I use it every single day. For again, it just depends on what you want to use it for: education, connecting, um, informational, what's going on in the world, trends. I mean, everything. There's so many things that you can do with it.
Yeah. Matt, hey, how can this community lift you up, man? How can we support you? You're an awesome dude. You're doing great things. I love that you're paying it forward. What can we do to help support you?
Um, if you could just relay my message to other folks that are interested in getting assistance from some of the nonprofits that are out there. I talked about Warrior Rising. If you could please take a look at their website, please look at their organization, and pass that information on to anyone else that is a military veteran or spouse that may want to utilize their services. Again, it's free. Why not? And they're a great organization. So please, if you could pass that forward to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally familiar with them. I'll save the story for the end of how I know them and everything else. But yeah, they're a good group of dudes. Um, hey everybody, this is Matt Butler. This is episode 2 out of episode 5. Stick with us. We'll be back for 3. Man, I love it. I don't even know how you're doing that. You're amazing me. It's probably some button that I don't even know about. Everybody have a great night. Talk to you soon. That's funny. I don't know how you're doing that. It's probably some, like, panel that I have, like, hidden or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.